Hey, Dave, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Just getting into some football action, and tell us about what was the mood up there at Rutgers. Obviously, a home game against a top 10 opponent. Must have been a real good vibe up there in Brunswick.
Yeah, definitely. The vibe was pretty raucous, I would say. Stadium didn't sell out last night. Obviously, coming off a season like last year for Rutgers, the expectations are a little tempered, and fans kind of want to feel out the team first. But I mean, the student section was packed, and the fans who showed up there and pretty much packed in the stadium as much as they could. They were pretty raucous all night, and there were some big plays in the first half. And I would say Rutgers is leaps and bounds and night and day improved over just 2016, and the team looks totally different. And the fact that they were able to keep that game close in the first half, and they even scored first and held the lead for most of the first half, despite a loss. I mean, it was very impressive to see what Rutgers was able to do last night.
Were you surprised that they went into halftime down just 10-7?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but the way they played in that first quarter, I mean, that was actually probably the best case scenario to only be down by 3. They had that 7-0 lead, and they held Washington to a field goal on a possession afterwards. But, I mean, Rutgers, you can make the argument they should have been tied going into the half, or still should have been winning, considering the only touchdown they gave up in the first half was due to a punt return. There was just bad punt coverage after Ryan Anderson booted probably about a 70-yard punt if you count every single yard when he punted from the back of the end zone. But, they were in the game, and it was just until Washington showed why they're the number 8 team in the country, and they pulled away in the third quarter. But Rutgers hung tough the entire way. The defense was playing well. Offense was moving the football, which is definitely a great sight to see. But, they were in the game, but then again, they did shoot themselves in the foot. But there was indeed a chance for an upset last night, I thought.
What was your expectation going in? Did you have any kind of preconceived notions about how this team might play?
I thought they would definitely play much improved football over last year. Obviously, with new talent on the offense, I figured the offense finally actually would move the football and would score a handful of points. And I was actually more concerned about the defense going up against a high-powered Washington offense, considering the defensive line is still kind of undersized to go up against other teams in the Big Ten, and also a big team like Washington from the Pac-12. But the secondary was not really a concern. I was really more concerned about the defensive line generating pressure and also stuff in the run game, because that's really what Washington thrives on. If they get good protection up front, Jake Browning's going to air it out all night, and they have 2 guys in the backfield in Miles Gaskin and Levon Coleman that are really going to gash you all night. And Rutgers really contained the entire first half and most of the third quarter as well, just until a couple breakdowns and coverage that Jake Browning was able to pick apart the Rutgers defense, and that's why Washington was able to extend that lead and kind of pull away from the Scarlet Knights late in the game.
I'll tell you what, man, that Gaskin kid, he's a nice player. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Rutgers did a great job, I would say, containing him the entire first half, but as soon as he came back in after an extended break, once he came back in the game in the third quarter, that's when I thought he had some fresh legs, and then he really beat the linebackers a lot in coverage. Trevor Morris is a second-year starter. Big expectations for him this season, but obviously he's a big liability in coverage. He was beaten 3 times on just wheel routes from Gaskin, and unfortunately one of those times it was a touchdown. I kind of put the game out of reach.
Talking with Nick Kosko. He's a student up at Rutgers University. Also does some radio work up there for the Scarlet Knights. And Nick, what was your impression of the Cedar Creek contingent? Obviously, you got Damon Mitchell, who's a 5th-year senior, and Bo Melton coming as a freshman. Amir Mitchell wasn't dressed. I guess he's still coming back from that knee injury. But what was your impression of Damon and Bo?
Devon Mitchell looked pretty good. I mean, we always saw at Arkansas he never had a true role depending upon his position. He was either a running back, wide receiver, quarterback, even played some defense. But now that he's a full-time wide receiver, there were some times tonight or last night where he ran some very crisp routes, and you saw the improvement. He could be a number 1 guy on this team. Amir Mitchell obviously didn't shoot up, but looking forward to him coming back. Bo Melton didn't get the ball thrown his way last night, but at least he was out there trying to create some separation on the offensive side of the football. The only mistake he made last night was the tackle out of bounds for a penalty that kind of led to a Washington touchdown after a punt. But Bo Melton, you can see the speed, you can see the aggressiveness. I mean, he's going to be a good player for them this season.
Did it seem to you that he could handle that level? I mean, obviously he was an outstanding high school player. You never know how a kid's going to react in his first college game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's still some things we have to wait and see, like him actually getting a ball thrown to him, because he actually did not even get a target last night. But you could see the speed is there for the college game. Obviously, he's got to just fix the mental errors, like committing those penalties by going out of bounds and making a tackle on punt coverage. But I think Bowman is more than ready. He was thrust in the starting lineup for a reason. I know they suspended Juwan Harris last night, who was their second-year receiver. But Melton certainly has the speed to keep up with the game, and he's more than physically ready. You just got to see what he can do with the ball in his hand.
Nick, what do you expect out of this team going forward? They have a couple of winnable games coming up on their schedule. What can we expect from this team in the next 4 to 6 weeks?
Well, I mean, they got Eastern Michigan and Morgan State on the schedule. I mean, right there you should pencil in 2 wins based on how they played last night. But you still got to play the game. But those are definitely 2 games they should win. Obviously, Ohio State's going to be a rough one, but the month of September should, feature some good wins for them, and they also have Nebraska on the road. The Big Ten games are going to be tough, but once they hit that stretch where they're playing Illinois and Purdue, I mean, this team could conceivably be 4-3 after 7 games. Then all of a sudden, you might be talking bowl game this year in Chris Ash's second year, but there's definitely a chance for that. But they have to obviously take it one game at a time, and if they can win the games they should win, I think Rutgers is going to be in a great position here in 2017.
Good stuff, Nick. Thanks for the quick update. We appreciate you hopping on board. Enjoy your holiday weekend, buddy.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
Yep, that was Nick Kosko. Does some work for Glory Days Magazine. Also a student studying broadcast journalism up at Rutgers University. So we'll check in from time to time with him during the fall season to see how the Scarlet Knights are doing.